Are you ready to be the best that you can be? Join hybrid business coach and consultant Charity Brown and her guest as they give you behind-the-scenes access to the insider tips and tricks that will help you take your business to the next level. Charity has an extraordinary approach to boosting businesses to break out of their modes, influence their industries, and become leaders of their packs. And she's ready to pass this inspiring knowledge on to you today. Learn how to change your game and build your business into what you've always dreamed of, right here on the Create Clarity with Charity podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Create Clarity with Charity podcast. Today I have a legend on my show, one of my biggest mentors and coaches that I could bring to my audience, Kevin Harrington, the original shark from Shark Tank, author of many books, and the inventor of the Informercial. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Charity, great to be here today. I'm looking forward to having some fun.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here. As you know, we've been working together for our last couple of years during COVID. I had the great opportunity of being on your set and having you help me scale my Now Answer group and my consulting business during COVID. So, all props to you and thank you for all that insight. So now we are bringing you to the audience because they want to hear from you, a shark, someone who has 40 years worth of entrepreneurship knowledge. I think you're one of the original entrepreneurs, right? Like if you want to go way back, I think you're probably one of the first that we could call you are like the ultimate entrepreneur.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It goes back 40 plus years, actually more than 50 years. So, yeah. A long time. I'm a shark. I'm an old entrepreneur. I was a young entrepreneur at one point, and I think the now that I'm an older entrepreneur, I've got a little more wisdom also, right?
Awesome. Yes. So because of those, mountain highs and those valley lows, we all know that entrepreneurship isn't rainbows and butterflies, right? Like we have to face failure. And how do we do that and get back up and keep going and being as resilient as you and relentless at being able to help other people scale their businesses? So let's get back down to business because I know that my audience, you have a wealth of information. So I know they want to know right now in this day and age, as a shark, as somebody who has put, let's say, maybe more than 500 products or internationally, right? Like you have created infomercials and put millions of dollars in people's pockets. So coming out of COVID, what is the key these days for entrepreneurs to get that huge footprint?
Well, so there's a couple different thoughts there. It all depends on the person, the business that they're in. And let's assume if they want to go into their own business, let's talk about somebody that's listening right now that's thinking, well, I can work for somebody and I have, but if I want to make real money, I mean, if you want to have an exit, if you want to make millions, you don't do that by getting a check weekly that you consume with your expenses. You have to create something that has an asset value. So, I believe that it starts with entrepreneurs actually building their brand a little bit. I mean, in today's world, it's a lot different today than it was 50 years ago when I was first starting entrepreneurship. In the old days, you had 4 TV channels and some radio networks and a newspaper, and it was old school media, and becoming famous and somebody on all channels of distribution was not easy. Today, entrepreneurs, they can start a business, start shooting videos. They're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, all Facebook, etc. They're generating leads, they're building funnels, they're writing books, they're creating content. It's a whole new world of opportunity. And so, I mean, I'm talking about opportunities like, here's a company that within a 3-year period of time, this company went from a small company to a $10 billion company, okay? And this was done by utilizing influencers and content creation and testimonials and Amazon distribution, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, we sold, Pepsi bought 7% of this company for $550 million. That's an asset that we created. So I say to entrepreneurs, that is what you should be doing. Think about what kind of assets might you be able to create. And as you build your own brand, then you can tie into these assets and create relationships. And this is how influencers work. They have some followings, and then all of a sudden they've got all these people that want to connect, and they want their services, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so the media platforms these days are available to everybody, but it's a scary space because a lot of people don't realize, right, how to broadcast their own brand and really create that branding footprint where you automatically recognize it, like you're saying, like Pepsi or Nike, or, and it was a lot harder to have the channels back in the day, but now if you team up with the right people, you get this huge media footprint. So let's talk about that. During COVID, everyone's coming out, everyone kind of has whiplash from, trying to figure out how to save their businesses, right? Like big corp, multifamily or multi property like franchises, restaurateurs, and hotel management, they took like the hardest hit, right? Because everything was shut down. Now they're all reopening and they're all coming out with these like newer strategies. So are you working with some newer innovative like tips and tricks and tools with your team? Are you using some of the higher end AI to help these organizations?
It's actually, I think that this is, I was, as an entrepreneur over the years, my business was As Seen on TV, and I owned As Seen on TV Inc., AsSeenOnTV.com, and we had massive. The .com was doing millions and millions of dollars of sales, in some cases monthly, and so we used telemarketing, right? We would take hundreds of thousands of calls a week. But what the challenge was that when we ran on these national cable networks, we would get 5,000 calls all at once, but there was only 100 operators. So they couldn't take those calls. So what we've done is we're now investors in an artificial intelligence telemarketing company, not only outbound, but inbound. And so like the airlines, have you ever called an airline and been on hold for 30 minutes? Well, yes. AI telemarketing is gonna solve a lot of these problems, because people come in, they sit and sit and sit, whereas AI can get them moving and get. I have actually talked to a machine for 20 minutes and didn't realize it was a machine. So yes. It's that good. And so we are investing in AI, and this is part of the new media frontier.
Yes, it's so innovative. Convergence. It's like all coming together. It's like a whole new world. I love it. So with those key tools and being able to develop strategy, right? So like people coming out kind of overwhelmed, exhausted, frustrated, trying to find the next best answer to creating more clients or to increase top line. So with those high-end AI tools and developing a strategy, what are the biggest stumbling blocks you see companies making right now? Are you seeing people kind of scrambling, or do you feel like, they need a team of experts?
Listen, I'll say this. People come to me and someone will stop here. We'll talk, we'll meet, we'll discuss, and I'll show them how we plan to help build their business. I mean, a great example, a gentleman, Alex Langer, walked in my office. He had a product, put it on my desk. I made him an offer. It made a lot of sense. And he said, thank you, but that means I have to give up equity to somebody, and I don't want to do that. I want to control my destiny 100%. So he went off, borrowed money against his house, and invested $150,000 into his project, and it bombed. And now he couldn't pay the money back, and he was and what did he do? He came back 2 years later and sat in front of me and said, Kevin, I made a big mistake. I wish I had taken your offer because I'm now out of money and wasted 2 years of my life. We said, the offer is still good. Let's do it. We shook hands. We did $500 million in sales on that product over the next 3 years. And Alex Langer, it changed his life. He owns radio stations and businesses all around the country, and we paid him tens of millions of dollars. So, I mean, this is proof positive. Now, not every single time are we going to be successful, but we've been doing this for 40 plus years. We have an awesome dream team. We have digital marketers, we have lawyers, we have copywriters, we have experts in media, in distribution, in writing and books, etc. And we have this dream team, and we are ready to rock and roll.
Awesome. That sounds like a great solution. So, what is the major pitfall when people decide to go at it alone? What is the main caveat there? Do you think that they're too scared to ask for help, or they don't have the funding or the resources, or what do you think it is when people have an opportunity to work with a shark and they have an opportunity to work with the experts and they don't, and they go at it alone?
Let me say this. I mean, when I first started, I didn't want to work with anybody. I thought I could do it myself. So I understand the thought process. An entrepreneur believes in themselves generally and wants to go make it happen. But I think very seldom does somebody hear about an opportunity with a shark and turn it down. But if they don't know about that opportunity, they may not pursue it. But, it's like I didn't have an opportunity to get sharks to help me when I was growing up. I had to do it myself, and I guess that's how I became a shark. But the bottom line is that most people are doing a lot of these things for themselves the first time, and they're going to make mistakes. I made mistakes my first time. I didn't get the right CFO, and we actually, the good news is we didn't go out of business, but we lost millions because of an incompetent chief financial officer that just let money just go through the company out the door like a sieve. And so get the right people, get the dream team, and this is what we do as part of our offering to many of the people out there.
That's awesome. I'm so excited to have you here because that is exactly the reason why you're here, is to bring these new tools and options to the marketplace, right? Because a lot of people used to think that these kinds of options were coveted and they were secret and only certain people would get in on these offers. Times have changed where we have great entrepreneurs like you who are, spilling the beans and revealing the secrets of what a great entrepreneur is. And since you've seen so many rise and falls of so many different types of businesses, what better than to have a shark help guide us on that journey. So here we go. So I don't know if my audience knows, but Tevin and I have created an amazing opportunity for entrepreneurs to scale their business. Okay. We want to know out there, are you guys ready to stay ahead of the curve? Okay. Are you guys ready to have a shark on your team? Are you ready to have a competent, triple degree certified, been in business 20 years, female who has, gone through the gauntlet of business growth and challenges, help guide you to create a brand of influence? Okay. We have what it takes to make businesses the authority in the marketplace. So this day and age, we need to really create the authority brands, because those are the ones that are going to survive this complex economy. So let's talk about this economy, Kevin, and why it's so important to get in on our deals now because of the things that are going to happen, you know, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years. What can we offer entrepreneurs that will help bring their brand above all other competition and really give them the scale tools they need?
I mean, I think, yes, it's the most important thing when you're building a brand is I say you got to put a business plan together, right? In the old days, we were more shoot from the hip and see if it works, but we like to really plan now, because I mean, let me give you an example. One of the things we recommend is that you, in building your brand, is creating content and writing books. Okay, I started with my first book about 12, 13 years ago, and because I had the book, I was promoting it. I got the phone call from Mark Burnett to go on Shark Tank. So I wrote the book. It delivered an amazing opportunity for me. And so we're going to show people, not only, it's not just writing the book, how do you promote that book? So I promoted my book by doing 185 podcasts. And these podcasts all came out within 10 days of the book launching, and we went to #2 on the Wall Street Journal bestseller list. And so I think the bottom line is that we have been through every process inside building a business, from starting the business to getting the right people, to the operational side, to the legal side, et cetera. And I think the important thing, and also creating that dream team, right? And so we're gonna help people do all of that, but we give them the blueprint, and the blueprint after writing the book was getting on podcasts, getting on television shows, getting out there, and then becoming a bestseller. So yes, we're gonna do everything that these folks need to get the right answers. And there it is. Are you a business leader that needs real answers now? That's what we deliver.
Yes, exactly. Because you are the guy with the answers, Kevin. Everyone knows this. They go to you when they need those answers. And that's why I've created Now Answer Group, because I've always been the one who wanted the real answers. Enough of the fluff, enough of the, oh, just, you need to get more likes, you need to get more followers, you need to just, do this or that. We want the real tools so we can go international or national, right? So a lot of local franchises and people that are building their businesses back out of COVID are kind of in that fear state, right? Maybe they are feeling they haven't been able to really get their business off the ground because of lack of funding. And I know that as a shark, you have amazing opportunities to be able to get people additional funding. And same with me, SBA, different loans. There's tons of grants and funding out there, loans and all kinds of things, even though interest rates are so high, but people are so scared. So fear, I think, is blocking people from their success. Do you think that's true?
Yes, I do. I mean, I think people are, they're afraid sometimes. They don't have the answers. And I love the Now Answer Group, your company. It's great concept here, because when people are starting a business, every day they're coming up with roadblocks and things that they need help on. And so we create this environment where they have access to us and to our dream team, to you, and all the people that can help make sure that they're not lost or unsure. And we work with them through these early processes.
Yes. And that is key. I mean, I don't know. There hasn't been a lot. I mean, entrepreneurship has kind of been the man's world, right? As a female business owner owning restaurants, lottery facilities, and, being like the only woman in the boardroom, I know how difficult that is. But now it's like a new age where women have the opportunity. They are CEOs, they are the heads of different, teams, and they need to know they also can reach out and now get expert mentorship, coaching, and teams from people that have already been vetted and tested and approved and already know the roadmap to success. And that's another thing, is tapping into, the right client avatar. A lot of people talk about your audience, and that is really like who we are speaking to right now.
Mhm.
And hopefully it's all the people, minorities, women, veterans. Now is the best time to scale your business. Don't let the economy scare you,
Yes.
especially if you have people like me and Kevin sitting here saying we have a whole team to help you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's
And Charity,
awesome.
let me bring up a point here, because a lot of people, they start a business and they'd say, oh, I need $10 million, right? Well, we can come in and say, hey, look, let's test before we invest. And if we put it, when we test something, if we can show some metrics for customer acquisition, then getting the investment is a lot easier, because we've shown proof of concept. Okay, so someone says I need 10 million because they haven't figured it all out. Once we get a customer acquisition cost, we may be able to raise $500,000, take it to the next level, because at 10 million you got to give away so much, but at $500,000 you're just giving away a little piece because you're testing before you invest. Then you go to the people and say, okay, now we need the big money, but we've got it proven, and here's the proof of concept. It's a much easier raise at that time. So we work with the companies to show them, hey, you don't need 10 million today. Let's test before we invest, prove it out. We can maybe raise 500,000, which can be done with one phone call sometimes, right? 10 million takes a lot of phone calls.
Right. And that is the vision. So people opening up their mind to go from $250,000 in funding to 10 million. That's like a huge leap and bound, right? At that point, that's where you have taken your products and clients. I think it's like you've done over $6 billion in sales and in over 100 countries in the last few years, which is remarkable. And that is probably the other question I had. A lot of, warehouse manufacturers, people that are like having products to sell, they are ready to go international. With this economy and the way things are, do you think that's a smart decision, is to start selling products internationally?
So I'll say this. When I first started my business back in the early 80s, for 10 years, up until the 90s hit, we were just in the US. But I had invested in the tooling of the products. I invested in the infomercials. I had invested in the manufacturing, in inventory. So I had all that. And then in the US, the products would go like very successful, and then they would bell-shaped curve like a movie. If it's very successful, then it comes out of the theaters. Well, what does a movie company do? They go international. So I believe that is the next step, but the logistics are a lot more difficult. So, and again, we've been shipping and doing business in 100 plus countries for 30 plus years. And so the logistics of that, we've got it. We know how to do this, right? And so, yes, international is something you should do, but make sure you've got the right advisors in the process.
Exactly. And that is why we have you. And, that is key to this new wave of business, because you can literally start a business online and sell online and never even have a whole manufacturing. You don't need you have someone else manufacturing, and you can sell internationally your products. So they made it easier than ever now.
Yeah, the other thing we do, which is awesome, is we have licensees around the world also. So if you open yourself in in Spain, for example, you've got to do the Spanish dictations and voiceovers, and you got to have inventory, and you got to have Spanish phone operators and all this, and customer service, all at your expense. And how do you do that if it's over in Spain? Or you license it to a Spanish entrepreneur who pays you big fat commissions on every unit sold. You can make a lot of money, but you don't have any of the costs or any of the time spent. So we would do that I just explained in dozens of countries simultaneously, generating revenues from dozens of countries, all cash flow, no expense. Awesome business model.
Wow, that's amazing. That I've actually not heard of that. So I'm sure everyone is writing that one down for sure.
Well,
So that's the
we did it out
key.
of when we were growing our business. We were in one country, but we wanted to go to 100, but we didn't have the capital to go to 100. So we found good partners in many of these countries who put the money up and did the operations.
Yes. And that is what, they say your network is your net worth, right? Like you know those people, if you can like pick up a phone and call them, then that is why we need you so much in this day and age, Kevin, is because you do have built such an amazing, reputation and your influence, your new book, Mentor to Millions, and, giving everybody that hope back, the rekindle the entrepreneurial fire, and to really say, hey, also CEOs that are running big corp, we have solutions for you. And these solutions aren't the run-of-the-mill solutions that you see, the next pop-up, right? So
Yeah.
they're kind of vetted and trusted. So I love that. So how about, talking about different key things that we offer, let's give the audience a little taste of what we have going on. So our offer right now is to really dial into, your business pitch and investor pitch. So I can hand them off to you guys and you can help them scale in this way of, utilizing the high-tech media and financial tools that your team and my team have. So if you guys are feeling like you're ready to take that leap and work with a shark, and not just a shark, but the original shark and the Informercial king, who's really got the best team, along with all the creating digital assets, what do we recommend them to do first?
Well, I mean, I think you're going to give them some places to track us down, I assume, right? I mean, at the end of the
Now
day,
answer group.
I mean, I say, I have what I call the golden rule in many situations, and it's he who has the gold rules. Okay, so it's no secret we've had some success, we've had some exits, we've built $10 billion companies, we've built $1 billion companies, we built 25 companies that did over 100 million. And so yeah, we have the gold. It's the golden rule. We can teach you how to get the gold, and that's what it's all about. So I'm not exactly sure how we're going to be communicating with all the folks that are out there, but I do believe there's the book your call now. It starts by people have to do one thing, and I want to show you what that is. This is my first book, and it's called
Act Now.
Okay. You know why I wrote this book? Because people would come up to me and they'd say, "Oh, Kevin, great to meet you. I saw that product that you had, that product that was on Jack LaLanne, this or that. And I had that idea 3 years ago. That's funny that you ended up doing it." And I'm like, guess what? Are you bragging that you had the idea, but I made all the money? Like, hey, you didn't act now. And now is the time. People that have ideas, they have businesses, they're in business, they want to get in business, they must act now to make it happen.
Yes. And act now, folks. nowanswergroup.com is where you can book a strategy call to get on the phone with me. And then we develop an awesome strategy with the Harrington team, and sky's the limit. Actually, there is no limit. Get on a call with us and we will definitely make sure that your brand, your influence is seen on ABC, CBS, NBC, that you will have the biggest media footprint on Kevin Harrington TV. You also will get an amazing testimonial from Kevin, advisory services, and also, I mean, what better than getting on a set with Kevin Harrington like I did, and the success that I've had in my business bringing an influence like Kevin, being an entrepreneur and needing that authority in the marketplace. You can't have a better shark on your team. So I'm inviting you guys to book a strategy call on nowanswergroup.com, and we'll talk to you soon. Ciao.
Thank you. So Charity, thank you for hanging with me here today. We've had a lot of fun. We've been going over 50 years of entrepreneurship from my side, and the ups, the downs. And I just want to make sure that the folks that are listening right now have an opportunity to explore this. And whether you're just starting a business, maybe it's a complete startup, you need our help. Maybe you've started and you're now rolling it out and you're getting new customers. Maybe we could lower your customer acquisition cost. You won't know unless you talk to us, okay? And maybe you're even at a further level and you're really starting to crush it. We provide advisory services for bringing in lots of influencers and celebrities and awesome different folks that can, as we call it, our dream team, that help you do all these things. In fact, you've just shown that, we help get funding and all of the things that if folks don't know how to raise capital. A lot of times they think, oh, go down to the bank. But no, there are individual investors out there and crowdfunding techniques and different things. I mean, we've raised over $1 billion for our companies and client companies. So we know how to raise money for you if that's what you need. So I just want to say, book that call, act now. Now is the time. Apply now, book the call. There's no obligation. It's all free. Check us out. You're going to want to find out how we can help you take your business, your ideas to the next level. Book that call right now.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kevin. And all you guys out there, stay ahead of the curve, book that call so you can get your Shark Dream Team today too. Chat soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.